And now back to Deadline Live with Jack Blood.
Joan Veon is back with us today, folks, and I'm so glad she is. The new film PowerPoint presentation tells you everything you want to know. When Central Banks Rule the World, womensgroup.org. You can Google that and get that. Please do. You really have to, because it's not guessing. It's not hype. It's all true. You have to decide whether that's good or bad. Now, there are some people out there who think we should have world government, that the change agents and the Federal Reserve should rule the world. They think that's a good thing. Well, that's for you to decide. But what we're telling you is this is what's happening, and I'll add the hypothesis. This is where we go, and this is what it means to you and to your families. Joan, just excellent work on this, and I've been researching this topic for almost 10 years, and I learned something from it, and I took a lot of notes. But let me ask you this. If the proverbial shite hits the fan, we go into the dark ages. Again, I'm hearing, end of the fiscal year, accounts being settled, total mayhem. But if that happens, doesn't that mess up the plan that's already working? They just said at the G20 it was a rousing success. If it ain't broke, why fix it? Or are things just this out of control?
Jack, I've been in the investment business for 30 years, and if I believed everything I heard in my office, I would be a raving lunatic, and I wouldn't even have an investment business, number one. Number two, as I have researched economically, I have seen where every time they've done something to the magnitude that we have with the credit crises, whether it was the savings and loan crisis in the 80s or what have you, or NASDAQ crash, etc., they've always repositioned themselves into a more powerful place where they can take more.
You bet.
Now, I've heard a lot about October, and I have positioned my clients defensively. I would say to people that if they can take gain, take it now, and not to wait. Take the gain. Take the gain.
Take
Why?
the gain and put it into put options, maybe?
Oh, well, they could do some put options, but, take the gain. And I say this for this reason. I say that for this reason. Very simply, the market was at an all-time low March 6th of this year. It is up unbelievably since then, several thousand points, like 3,000 points or so. The truth of the matter is these evildoers will find some excuse to trash the market so that they can take all the gain that's there.
And by trash, you mean just to take it back down to 5, 6, 7,000 and take all that wealth out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And we certainly have seen this. I mean, these people have made an absolute fortune. An absolute fortune. I mean, I bought AIG at 6 thinking it was going to go sky high, went down to 2. I was stupid. I sold. Well, it's at 32 now or something like that. All right? I would have never, ever, ever thought, based on, quote-unquote, what they said a year ago. These people have made an absolute fortune. We don't have the kind of steel stomachs they have, but they are the ones who create the ups and downs to begin with.
No, I thought
they
Obama
have total control.
I thought Obama hated the insurance companies. That's what health care is all about. Yet he gave AIG hundreds of billions of dollars to, by the way, spread out to all of their clients. By the way, you pay for it, as you point out in your film and your documentary. Whatever the Fed puts out, whatever the Treasury puts out, we cover all of it.
That's right. That's
allegedly.
Right. The big thing that is so amazing as I was studying what has happened in the last 2 years is that the other countries have been in this major feudalistic system where every time there was a problem, the taxpayer bailed the banks out or their companies out. We've only done that very limitedly. And what happened with the 2006, 7, 8, 9 credit crises is the fact that they have perfected the system whereby you and I are now bailing everybody and everything out, we the taxpayer. I mean, it is so horrendous.
Let me go back. So what you're saying is the bubble some air will come out of the bubble, but the bubble isn't going to pop. We're not going to the dark ages here over the next few weeks.
The
dark ages described to me as worse than any depression that's ever visited this country or the world.
No, I don't think so. I'll tell you what, Jack. There are a lot of rumors that, like I say, if I believed everything I heard in my office, I'd be a blubbering idiot. The truth of the matter is, I think they are going to take gain in the market. Okay, they've brought it up over 3,400 points or something like that. They're going to take that gain,
and they're not going to kill the golden goose.
No. Okay, and whether it is Israel doing a stealth attack on Iran, whether it is something else whereby all of a sudden, it drops. Okay, these guys control. And they don't forget, they control the media. They control what you and I think. And you and I are the ones looking and searching for truth and sifting and weighing to determine, is this truth or is that truth?
We didn't we didn't foretell the commercial property toxic assets, and now we've got to deal with that, and we just need another bailout and another infusion of cash into the. You could this is so easy to read once you understand.
It is.
That's why I want people to get up to speed with what you're doing.
Let me say that the only way I could convey what I had to convey was through PowerPoint. There's no way, if I had just done extemporaneous speaking, that I could bring everybody along with me. They have to see the pictures.
Yeah, and I love when you go over the 5 change agents, Volcker, Rubin, Summers, Paulson, and Geithner, and you show, without a doubt, that all of them are tied to the Bank of International Settlements, the IMF, the World Bank, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, and the Rothschild Trust, and the Federal Reserve. Now, if you like all those people, you're probably okay with all this. If you don't, you have to look back, Joan, at the last, 30 or 40 years and go, what the hell? This isn't change.
Absolutely.
Hey, can you stay with me just for a few minutes on the other side of this top of the hour break? And I just want to get out to my listeners what we can do, if anything, about this. Just knowing about it is important and telling other people, but what can we do as we the people, as citizens? Joan Veon with us, Women's Group. It is womensgroup.com. We'll be right back after this Deadline Live, AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Second hour starts here in just a few minutes. We are locked and loaded for the propaganda war. Second hour of Deadline Live coming your way this first day of October 2009. To get more information on the show, listen to the show, check out all the things we are reporting. DeadlineLive.info, www.deadlinelive.info, and AmericanFreedomRadio.com. I want to thank all the affiliates for picking up our show. Joan Veon has been with us the entire first hour. Very eye-opening stuff, and I am heavily promoting her new PowerPoint presentation. I'm a believer when central banks rule the world, by Joan Veon. Again, their website is womensgroup.org, 301-371-0541. Joan, here's the things I have on what we can do. Of course, decentralize and repeal. We need to keep doing that. How best to do that is the question. Know your enemy, the enemies of freedom, which your film tells people all about. Vote with your dollars. Do not support things that are unethical, that are ruining the sovereignty of this country. Demand accountability. Again, how best to do that. And civil disobedience. Maybe you got to take a bullet for your country. Go ahead, Joan. I'm open to whatever suggestions you have.
I don't disagree with any of those. Everybody will have to determine what their level is. There are 2 standards here in America, and the standard of right is out and has been out for a very long time. The liberal left side, the progressive side, the globalist side is the side that somehow gets all the empowerment, and we don't. The people need to wake up, and they need to ask God to show them truth. That's what I did 15, 18 years ago. I was not anticipating when I asked God to show me truth. In other words, was what I was reading in the newspaper and hearing on TV and even hearing in church and hearing wherever other venues, was it really truth? And that's what I started praying and asking God to show me. And sure enough, I'm now out of the box. And I see that truth is out of the box.
Joan, I wish that everybody listening would tell everybody, to tell everyone, to send your film, When the Central Banks Rule the World, to every one of their congressmen.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We don't have the money to do that. We are looking
Is it okay if people, once they buy a copy, to support your work, because you need to keep going to all these meetings and getting us this information, but can they make a copy and hand them out on the street corners?
Absolutely. They have my blessing.
Unbelievable. Joan, I could just talk to you for 5 hours on this. I could talk to you for 15 hours because we barely scratched the surface with you once again. But by getting your film, people are going to understand everything that we know about this. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll be talking to you real soon. Thank you, Joan.
God bless you, Jack. God bless America.
Deborah Medina joining us after this break. Stay with us.